So how would you like to go from this, a well-struck, solid 7-iron, to this absolutely crushed 7-iron at 175? So that's right, how would you like to pick up 18 yards extra with your irons, compress the ball better than ever before? Well, if so, keep watching. So we can see the first swing on the left-hand side and the second swing on the right-hand side. So even though there's a very slight change in his rest position, I wasn't massively conscious of that, but we can see definitely more pressure into that lead foot as opposed to not far off 50-50 with the first swing. So as I move back, everything pretty typical for me, and then down into impact with the first one, you can see the line I drew from my lead shoulder to the golf ball. As I come down into impact, I can see there the hands slightly behind the line, shaft almost straight up with 83% pressure in my lead foot. Now we see the second swing from a slightly different address position, nothing massively changing in the backswing. But then as I move down, we see an earlier shift into that lead side. The pressure really pouring into there. We can see over 90% of pressure. And then as we get back into impact, the hands more in line with the line. So more shaft lean, less loft, and much more pressure in that lead foot. So if you're still watching, you're definitely interested in that extra distance, aren't you? And I mentioned there about compressing the golf ball. And I think that term gets thrown around a lot, but sometimes golfers aren't really sure what it means. So all it's about is about how much pressure that club is putting onto the golf ball, and the more loft there is, the less the ball compresses, the more the ball goes up in the air. So obviously then the less loft we can achieve, the more energy we're going to transfer from club head to golf ball, win-win, hit it further, probably with more speed and more control, as I saw in those first two shots. So if we talk about how we're looking to achieve that position. So from our address position, I think a lot of golfers get confused that address and impact are the same. Well, they're not. At address, I'm looking to be here. Impact, I'm looking for much more pressure into that lead leg. Body out the way, shaft leaning forward. And very often a great way to feel that extra shaft lean is with your trail hand sits slightly on top, but at impact you want to feel it's almost pressing the club down into the ground. So that can be a hugely different feeling. And I think for a lot of people, if you work through this with me, you can almost feel that if you were to put the club on the ground a bit further behind, take the hand off and press it on top of the shaft and drag it along, that's more of the kind of feel that you want to have through impact. Now I know if you're somebody who does this, that is going to feel hugely different. But the benefits to it is less loft, means more ball speed. Also, you're going to get that low point further ahead of the golf ball. It's just going to crisp up that strike, transfer energy better. And honestly, once you hit one like that, you really will wonder why you haven't been at least trying to get that your whole golfing life. So what I would say is you want to get that feel, just little half swings to begin with. So feel that that trail hand is on top of the shaft and feel that you keep it on top of the shaft through impact. Even if it's a nice sawn off follow through to begin with. So I'm going to hit a little half shot. We'll get some numbers on TrackMan and see how that looks. So strike felt good, 73 mile an hour club head speed, 100 mile an hour ball speed, smash factor at 1.37, launch angle at 13.2 degrees, low point 5.4 inches ahead, and carry 130. Now I know what you're thinking, that's not miles back on my full swing. Now, obviously with the short swing, I'm able to really exaggerate that feeling and keep a lot of loft off. I'm not necessarily looking for the launch angle to be quite that low. For my club head speed, round about 17.5, 18 degrees will be ideal. If you're somebody who swings a bit slower, a little bit more launch angle isn't the worst thing in the world. So let's go again, little half swing, feeling that I really keep that right hand on top. And I love the feeling, there's a drill I do, is actually just have the hand to the side and feel that it's pressing down through impact. Such a powerful feeling. So one more half swing. Maybe a little longer than half, but still very nice. So because it was a bit longer, a bit more club head speed at 78 mile an hour, 108 mile an hour ball speed, smash factor 1.38, launch at 14, and all of a sudden 147 carry. So now I'm going to go what feels almost a 3/4 length backswing. And as you work through the video with me, you might actually find that you're able to control the shaft lean and the compression better with just a slightly shorter backswing than normal. So I'll go 3/4 swing, again, feeling that that trail hand stays on top through impact. Again, felt absolutely awesome. 87 mile an hour club speed, 118 mile an hour ball speed, smash at 1.36, launching 17.9, nearly 4 inches ahead, and 183 total. So that's actually a little bit further than I would normally hit the ball. And this is possibly something I'm just changing a little bit in my golf swing. So now I'm going to go on to the full swing and see if I can still remain as efficient into impact as I did with that 3/4 swing. Just got that a tiny bit thin, but 88 mile an hour club head speed, still nice and quick. Ball speed at 119.5, smash at 1.36, launched a little low at 15.5 degrees, low point was good. Carry was down a little bit on that one, but definitely the strike will have made that one spin up a little bit more. But if you can really get that feeling of ball and then turf with less loft, it's amazing how powerful it feels off the face. And everybody talks about, potentially with the good players that hit it a long way, how the sound's different. And that's completely down to how they're delivering the golf club. You can think of lead wrist, but for a lot of golfers, right-handed golfers, they're very right-hand dominant. And sometimes when you talk about feeling where the left hand is, they've got no awareness on that left hand. As somebody right-handed, I've got really good awareness as to my right hand, and I can definitely feel where that right hand wants to be through impact. And then it's just a case of standing up there, focusing on the movement, even just rehearse that a little bit before you're going to hit your shot, and then step up, compress the golf ball, even though that was a little bit out the toe. All of a sudden the miss hit is quick club head speed, decent ball speed, and 150 for a miss hit is great, but I need to make sure that as I get that little bit of lean, find the middle of the club face, and it feels so good, so powerful. And if you can get anywhere near that by compressing the golf ball, make sure that trail hand is more on top. And like I said, don't be afraid of even taking the right hand off, pressing it down onto the shaft. See how as I press down, the shaft moves further forward. And if you can strike your irons like that, even with the fairway woods off the floor and hybrids, you're going to start striking it well, hitting it further with more control. And after all, that's the perfect golf shot.